That's okay.
Yep.
And I'll start a game.
Right.
Oh, let me back out. Did we say we wanted to do this without the ice errata on?
I was thinking about that.
Because I thought you had mentioned that, and this would be the place where we would set it, and it would set for the whole game. So if you want to
Yeah.
turn that off and let it play the way the cards originally printed, that's a button I'll turn off.
The only thing I wasn't sure about was that in the companion, it's got an errata section, hasn't it? So
well, then they've already moved
there is
into
errata available.
Yes, then if you want to play to that, then let's leave it on.
Yeah, I think leave it on. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're aware that includes changes that happen after these sets, isn't it? So there could be discrepancies between. I think we'll just go with what the cards say.
So I started a game. It's in the casual room.
Oh, right, yes, I've got to click on casual. So pick your alignment hero and join.
Okay.
And now I've got to choose my deck.
Okay.
I assume it's now with you to start.
There we go.
Oh, yep. So I'm just checking my Zoom setting. I think I can probably up the Zoom level. I'll try it anyway. 125. Yeah, let's try that.
Oh, it looks like there's some new buttons when you click on a character. Instead of locale 1, it says at the end. 1, 2, or at the end. That was what it used to say, new party.
All right.
And I'm playing just the dwarves, so I won't have any of your Dunedain.
No.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, when I was reviewing your deck, one weakness I thought was that there's only one scout. Is that because there's not many scouts in the Dunedain other than the wizard?
No, there actually are more. I probably could have.
Bergil of all people.
I probably should have kept more than one in there.
Even in the pool, yeah.
I think I start with him with the elven cloak. He gets both the minor items.
Oh, okay, right.
And I gave the 2 one-mind dwarves the boot, and I went with Bofer instead to start with. He's a 4/7 instead of a 2/7. The one-minders. Ori and Dwalin. Yeah. So I swapped them out.
8, 13. Oh, you got the full 20.
Mm-hmm. And I'll still just have one guy, the 2-minder, that I can put under.
And I've got one free GI. And how many character points? 2, 4, 6. 6 character points.
All right. So you want to draw a hand, roll dice. What order do you want to go?
I'll draw my hand.
All right, I'll do the same and keep it.
Here we go. I'm back to... It's funny how it happens. I had 7 hazards, then I had 7 resources. Now I've got 7 hazards again as a start.
Well, let's see what the. All right, so you've got all your hazards in your hand. That's good because it's my turn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so I shouldn't be complaining.
Oh.
So
Well,
hang
we'll
on. So
start
you
out, of
put
course.
both are under Gimli. So now you've. Oh, that's why you've got the 2 free.
Yeah,
Yep.
I freed up 2. And I actually, while I'm here at the Haven, I got another 2-minder. So he'll come out and join the company. So Bifur and Bofur are both under control of Balin and Gimli. And
Yep.
not much to do here, so I think we're just gonna take a chance. All right. So I've untapped everyone. I've got everyone organized. I've got my free GI tallied, character points tallied. Go into movement hazard phase. They're all moving as one company. And they're going.
Yep.
Like that.
Holland.
So you can draw 1.
Yep.
And I have a hazard limit of 5.
And I've got 8 hazards to choose from, so I'll have a look at those. It probably won't surprise you to learn that some of them are trolls.
Yeah.
So double wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play him.
One of the troll brothers plays on a double wilderness, and one of them plays on, I think, a single wilderness.
Okay, well, first of all, okay, so I'll play, where is it? I'll put Awakened Denizens on the table,
Sure.
just in case you've picked something up.
Good. That boosts up the auto attack. Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll be going to sites and lairs unless I happen to pick something, a good resource up. Next turn, and I'll play Bert.
There we go. All right, Bert.
That's 1 at 12.
1 at 12. Well, let's see what the dwarves can do. I think. Bless you. Bofur will face the. He will tap the shield, and he will tap, so he'll be a 5.
12. Yep.
Versus 12.
That's just not a bad attack. Ooh.
Tied it.
He survives.
He survives, but he didn't score a point for me.
And I discard. That's 2 hazards. And here comes his brother.
His brother. They were.
Who managed to get it. It's the first time I've seen 2 of them come out in the same attack.
That's good. So he's 1 at 11. I think Bifur will take this one. He'll tap. He's a 4.
Just thinking, I didn't realise they were different prowess. I probably would have played the weaker one first to try and waste a canceller or something and hit you with a stronger one.
So he needs the same.
Was a mistake.
He needs the same roll as Bofur got. Doesn't get it. All right, so body check. He has a body of 7.
Okay. So CC, BC, BC
Oh, sorry.
7 slash.
I got him.
And what's the special text say? He must discard all non-special. Oh, so you were aware of that? Oh, but
Yeah, I wanted to do the one that didn't
have an item
have an item
or
first.
any non-special items.
He just joined up. He just joined up to die on the first turn. So, but we won't forget him.
So he.
So that's
discards.
3. Yeah, he discards. You have 2 more.
That's 3. Yep. Can't play that one. Can't play that one. Can't play that one. I'm going to play a card on guard.
Yeah. Now you know how to do that, right? So there's a button that says on guard over on the orange.
Click on the. Oh, okay, yeah.
You click that, and then you click on my top site. And then you click on the card in your hand that you want to play. There you go. And that's how you play it on guard. Excellent.
He's progressing.
Excellent. So that's 4 hazards.
And can you play more than one card on guard on the same site?
You can, but not if there are only one company moving. Each company can get 1 card played on guard for their destination. So if I had 2 different companies moving to that site, you could end up with 2 on guard cards, but not with just one company.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So no more hazards.
All right. So well, you nibbling away at my company, the trolls, and so I go to site phase. I'm at 8 cards. I had not drawn anything to play here, so there's no reason for me to enter. Now, at the end of the turn phase, you will take your on guard card back to your hand.
So click on it. What does it do?
Come back? Oh, I think it looks like it revealed onto the table. Was that it? Choking Shadows?
Yeah, the Choking Shadows.
Just drag it back to your hand.
So I wonder if I had.
I think there's a.
Oh, there was a return on guard button.
Yes,
I missed that.
Sorry about that. So now, because you played your on guard card, you're actually up over the over the hand size. So you don't get to draw any cards, but you draw them earlier when you play the on guards. So basically, we go to end of turn discard, and you would have to discard 1 without getting to draw. So
really, by putting that card on guard, I lost a discard opportunity.
Not really, because you drew another card before at the end of the movement hazard phase. You drew another card.
Right.
Went back to 8, and then this one came back to your hand. All that playing it on guard does is it gives you an option of seeing what the next card you're going to get is before you decide which one you're going to discard.
Does that mean, in theory, you should always do an on guard to give you?
I would think so, yeah. Unless you have hazards. Unless you have hazards that are working and you don't want to, if there's a reason to play it that it wouldn't trigger on guard, you would play everything.
So, in your experience, do the good players or that play a lot, do they do it, or do they sort of think, I can't be bothered?
Oh no, they play. Most people play on guard cards.
Yeah, pretty much every time.
And there's a resource card in the Dark Minion set. So after the dragons, the Dark Minions came out, and they started wrinkling new little rules and cards that targeted certain things. And they came out with a card there called Withdrawn to Mordor. And it returns a face-up character to their opponent's hand, or it discards an unrevealed on-guard card. And that is actually a great surprise to play when people aren't paying attention and they're just putting cards on guard and they put something useful down on guard that they think they need, like their wizard, before they've revealed him.
Yeah.
And then you discard it and they weren't
Like,
expecting it to be discarded. So that's a
yeah.
nice surprise with
Yeah.
on guard cards.
Yep. All right, so I've got to discard back to 8. So, okay, I'll do that, and I click done.
All right.
And start turn. All right. Well, in addition to starting with 7 hazards, I also had my wizard.
Nice.
So, yeah, as a bonus.
Well, you got to play a lot of hazards, so you got to draw back up. That's good. Keep the cards moving.
And he can. So what's the rule? The wizard he can start at any.
He can start at Rivendell or his home site. So the first turn.
So that was quite lucky. Yeah.
The first turn is the best time to get him out because he joins the company without anybody having to move back, or without them having to go somewhere to get him.
Yeah. So now I better just look at my general influence situation. So 6, 5, 5. Bergil's a 2, and Halbrand. So they could both come under. They could both become followers. That would free up 3 general influence, at least.
Now, remember, too, you can change it from turn to turn. So, for example, if you don't have a faction that you're going after and you have no reason to keep your wizard with 10 free direct influence, you could put Faramir and Baratar under his control. They're each 5 mind, and then you would free up 10 general influence. And then on a later turn, when you realize you've got a faction and you want your wizard to get him, you move them out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll do that. So
because that way you're completely immune to the targeting cards that look at your free general influence, like the Call of Home or the Muster Disperses, which is used on a faction to discard it.
Yep. Okay. Now I'm in the same situation as you. I haven't got any marshalling points, so I'll just move somewhere where I think I could draw something.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically said to yourself, I'll go to a
ring site. I wanted to go to a ring site because I've got 3 rings in the deck.
Oh, right.
And I figured that was the biggest chance of drawing a resource that I was specifically looking for would be a ring.
Yep. And you're there. So I wonder, is there any... Oh, so I changed my GI up to 10.
It should be, I think, 11. Is that right?
6, 8, 9, 11, yeah. Is there any argument for following you? Can I do anything to you? Well, I mean, you're going to be moving on anyway. I was going to say...
No. The turn your wizard comes into play, he cannot make an influence attempt.
Okay.
That is to specifically prevent what you could do, which would be to run over and influence one of my characters away out of my company, just make me discard him for no better purpose than to spoil my company.
Yeah. So I would have done that. If it wasn't for that rule, I would move and do it in the site phase.
Correct. If you had nothing to do, going and messing with your opponent is certainly a valid thing. But like I said, the drawback is the turn your wizard comes into play, he cannot influence your opponent's marshalling points, whether it's a character or a faction or an ally or whatever.
So I'm thinking to myself, it might still be worth moving there because it's a ruins and lair, and if you happen to pick up a ring during my movement hazard phase, you would then be thinking you've got to go to a different ring site.
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't want to stay there and do it because my following turn I could do that.
Yeah, you could
influencing
get
thing.
me. You could pursue me with the purpose of influence, and what you would do would be to move the two guys you just put under Saruman back out into general, so Saruman has a full 10 direct influence, and he can sway opinions much better with his influence.
So I'll move there, but I won't know in advance whether you're going to stay or not.
Right.
Have to
Well, but so you'll be able to be starting your next turn at the same site I start my turn at.
Yep. All right. So I'll grab that site. So it's in Holland.
When the game first came out with the first set, that was really the only interaction that you had between companies, was going and influencing. When they started doing different alignments, you could do things like company versus company combat.
Okay.
But so, yes, in the beginning it was just messing with each other's things.
Right. I didn't do the untap all, right? So just check. Yep. So long event phase. So that stays on for my movement hazard phase, and I've got no new ones to play. So I'm organised and into the movement hazard phase. And reveal my card, and I'll be able to use the /P.
Sure.
Select the site for starter movement. I don't know if that used to come up anyway.
He's been tinkering with things, I think.
Okay. And so it's a 6 hazard limit with a double wilderness to a ruins and lair.
And I get to draw one.
And
so
I get to draw one. And yeah, strikes is doubled in the side phase.
Well, I'm just looking at what's in my hand here to decide what I want to play. I will put the Doors of Night out. I got that early, so as I said, if you've kept the gates in there, one of these decks is a gates deck and the other is a doors. So
yeah, I did. I kept the 2 gates.
Okay, all right. And I have no more hazards.
I'm getting an easy run to start. I wish I had something to play.
Me too. I wish I had something to play.
We're just sort of towing around a bit, just testing the waters at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 8, so I stay at 8.
So you can discard and draw at the end of your turn if you're not going in, if you're not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything in the site phase.
Yeah, you just skip through the site phase and go to end of turn.
So click on site phase. Click on end of turn phase.
And then you could discard one and draw one if you want. If you're trying to find marshalling point cards.
Yep. Yeah, I reckon I will. Just thinking which one. Okay, I'll discard that one. And draw back up and do my EOT discard to acknowledge.
Okay, so I get to do the same.
Turn.
I'll discard one and draw and done.
And then I say that I finished my turn.
Well, still nothing here for me to get, so I am going to... I think I need to move.
You do, don't you? Because I would just unfollow Baratar.
Yeah, I got to make you at least...
Faramir.
Make you at least give up your zone where all your points are played to come chase me down. If you're gonna commit to influencing me, I'm gonna make you. So I untap. I'm moving to the Haven. You can influence at a Haven.
Right.
So it's a triple wilderness with a 1-card draw for the site that we're leaving, since we're going to a Haven. And a hazard limit of 4.
Has a limit of 4, right? Got here. Ooh.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm going to play
All right.
Choking Shadows.
Okay, now remember
and Doors
this.
of Nights is in play.
Right.
So it's going to treat a wilderness as a Shadowland.
There we go, yeah.
Which means that I didn't have any
Creatures.
hazards keyable, but now I have.
Right.
So that's good. So this is the time when you probably really want to twilight that Choking Shadows.
I'll let you go ahead and play.
Okay. So I've got 4 hazards.
So that was 1.
I'm going to play Minion Stir.
Oh, it's getting nasty now.
So that's a +1
for trolls. Trolls prowess and strike are +1. The doors only affects the orc attacks, not troll.
Yep. And then let's see. Oh, I thought I could play him, but I can't. Right, okay. So yep, and then I'll try.
There we go. He's the guy.
High trolls.
So he's going to be
10.
He'll be 4 at 11.
Yep. If you don't cancel.
No, I'm going to fight it.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to. My dwarves are here to fight. They're not going to hide.
Oh, can I just quickly ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you... Oh, no, I've got my own answer. Doesn't matter. I was going to try and duplicate Minion Stir on you.
Right. No, you can't. And the Choking Shadows, you were saying something about playing a Twilight on my Doors of Night. I would have to respond to the Choking Shadows. Once we move past Choking Shadows, it's a short event. It already resolved and turned that wilderness into a Shadowland. So I can't Twilight either of those, Doors or Choking Shadows, because it's already kicked its effect in. Once we moved on to Minion Stir, it was the Shadowland was untwilightable.
Right. Yep. Even though it's an environment card.
So I've got 4 guys. They're each going to be taking a strike at 11.
Can I just check again? So you're saying this when I table the short event environment card, you can't twilight that?
I could twilight the Choking Shadows in response to its playing.
Yeah. Okay.
Twilight says it says 1 environment card in play or declared earlier in the same chain of effects is canceled and discarded. So I would have to play it while you had that chain of effects going. While Choking Shadows was being played but had not yet resolved, I would have to twilight it.
Right. But Doors of Night would stay on the table.
Doors of Night would stay.
It's not the same chain of effects.
Correct. Yeah. I would have to... Well, the Twilight targets one, so I would have to choose which my target was. If I targeted Doors of Night, it would no longer allow that alternate effect of Choking Shadows to play. So it would not allow the Shadowland transformation. But I like the Doors of Night. I want it to stay out, so I'm going to deal with your... I'm going to deal with your trolls.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is my third hazard, by the way.
Okay, I needed to click on through. I wasn't even in the movement hazard phase, so sorry about that.
Okay.
So we face the attack. He is a 4. With the shield tapping is a 5. Versus 11. So he beats his.
Yep.
5 versus 11. Beats his.
He's after some kill points.
Hopefully. Well, I have to roll. See, this troll has a body, a number for his own body checks. So to kill it, I have to roll higher than a 6 on every strike that he takes at me. So instead of 3 strikes where I have to roll 3 body checks greater than 5, that you minion stirred it up to 4 strikes. So I'm going to have to, if I beat all these attacks, all these strikes, I'll roll the body check.
Yep.
Sometimes people will roll them each one after each successful strike or each failed creature strike. They roll the body check. But if you lose one, you're not going to need it to roll any of them at all. So that's another argument to let it wait and roll them all at the end.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead, keep going here down the line. We've got another 5 versus an 11. My luck is held up so far. Nah.
No.
So see, no need to even roll the body checks because I can't score those points.
And you're a 7.
He's up to an 8 with the shield.
Oh, sorry.
And that's why he's got it. He's safe. Are you there?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you tied it, so he survives. Now, if there's another creature that comes and attacks, and he has another body check, his body check is now down 1. It is a 7, because when he's wounded, it drops down 1 to a 6, and then the shield takes it back up to a 7. So 5 versus 11. He's going to lucky strike. So this is another warrior. This is another fighting card. Warrior makes 2 rolls, draws 2 numbers, and chooses which one to use. So I probably should have used that on Balin, but they had the same prowess, so it didn't really matter. But Balin's a little bit more important because he's my sage.
Yep.
So that is not what he needed. That is. So lucky strike performed as needed.
So the trolls discard.
Trolls go discard, and you have 1 more.
Right, let me have a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play Mouth of Sauron as a short event.
Right.
So I can bring any hazard card from a discard pile
to your hand.
So I'll draw it. Yeah. Which is probably a bit of a funny time to do it because it'll be the last hazard, so then it's just going to sit there to your next movement hazard phase. So.
Now, did we in fact go through to the full hazard limit? I just want to double check.
I'm pretty sure that's the 4th.
You played Choking Shadows, Minion Stir,
the Trolls.
The Troll, and the Mouth. Yes, okay, that's right.
So just... So back to hand. Close. no more hazards.
All right.
So I draw back to 8.
Draw back to 8. I am at 8. We'll go to the sight phase. We did not have anything to do here except run away from you.
At least you've got to a haven with your wounded character.
With my wounded character, that's right. You can discard the choking shadows. I left that. I was gonna say that could stay out the way it was because it reminded us of the change, but it is a short event, so it goes away after it's played. I
was going to say, with these 2 long events, you sort of got to remember which turn. Like you almost need a marker to say how long they've been in play, because one's going to go and one's not.
Right. Your long event hazards always go during my long event phase. They go out and during my movement hazard phase. They stay out for your whole turn, and then when it rolls back around to my long event phase, they go away.
Okay.
So it's easy enough to remember. If you remember who played them, you can remember when they go away, whether they're a hazard or a resource.
Yeah. Turn, discard.
I still haven't drawn any of my point cards or my wizard.
I've got an easy discard. I've got my second wizard card.
Yeah, that's him out of the way now.
And done. And start.
Got quite an exciting game going here, don't we?
Yeah, a few new things that I haven't done before, so it's good.
Your hazards are working well. I just need to see some point cards.
Yeah. Luckily enough, I have picked one up. I have picked up a Gates of Morning, so that would be the time to play it now.
You can play that at any time during your turn.
Because that would reduce the effectiveness of your orcs.
My Doors of Night.
If you play any orcs on me.
Right.
I don't think you've got any, but unless you put some in.
The other thing is, what is Doors of Night in my deck for? You need to remember what it's there for, and it's mostly there for the
dragons.
The Dragon's Desolation and the Gloom. Right?
Okay. Yep.
Gloom changes a border hold into a Ruins and Lairs if Doors of Night is out. And then the Dragon's Desolation lets a dragon attack at a Ruins and Lairs.
Yep.
That has 2 wilderness in its sight path, or only 1 wilderness if Doors of Night is out. So most Ruins and Lairs are in a ruin or in a wilderness.
This is where it sort of gets interesting though, because so in that sense, I want to play Gates of Morning to take Doors of Night off the table, but it's going to have a negative effect for me because it reduces the minion stir. But the minion stir is not benefiting from it anyway for me because I'm playing trolls and not orcs.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say that on the one hand it would benefit me, but if I was playing orcs, it would also disadvantage me. Because in a way, I want Doors of Night on the table for my orcs to get a benefit from minion stir.
I'm just looking too that the Awakened Denizens does go away now at my. It went away. It was out. Oh no! We're in your turn. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here with trying to figure out the long events.
All right. Well, I'll play Gates of Morning.
All right. I will play a Twilight.
Oh, well, that's easy.
So Gates of Morning discards and Twilight discards, and the Doors of Night stays out.
And I've got. Where am I? I'm Austin Hill.
You're in Holland?
Holland, yeah. I was just seeing I've got Boromir, but I can't. Oh, I can play him, but he just comes on his own at Minister, doesn't he?
Now he can't come in because your wizard is in play. So the wizard either
The
has
wizard
to
will have
be
to be
there,
there.
or he has to come in under someone's direct influence.
Yeah.
Who is already
He is.
there wherever he wants to come in.
And he's a 4. Right. Okay, so this is interesting. So that probably means I want to move Saruman to
either a haven or to Minas Tirith. If you continue to follow me, you could move your guys out from under Saruman's control.
Yep.
And you could take a turn trying to influence me. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying, because if you would do that, then on your next turn, Boromir, you'll be at the haven because you're chasing me to the haven, and then Boromir can come into play with the rest of the company because your wizard is at the haven.
Yeah. I like it.
Huh.
So I'll now let me think.
I kind of feel like I'm luring you after me.
Right, let me see if I can organise these cards.
I have a big trick to get you once you come and try to influence me.
Okay. Standards. Oh, forget that. I did that same mistake again.
Oh, yeah, trying to go to get the site.
Standard sites. Yeah. Every time. So drag that to the hand and close for a moment. And now let me think. They're going to come off. If I put that at locale 10, that's going to be my splitter.
The other thing is you don't have to keep your entire group as one company. You could move them off like maybe you're doing.
Yeah, I was just going to move Saruman and leave the other fellas. I've got 11, 3, 5, and 5. Is that right? 5 and 5. If I take those 2 guys off,
you'll be back down to 1 general influence.
Yeah,
they're each 5. Halbarad is 1, Bergil is 2, and Imrahil is 6.
Yeah.
So you'll be up from 9 to 19.
So Imrahil's got 2, so I could put Bergil as a follower of Imrahil.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
Now, before you move Bergil, if you're going to get some other guys, if you're going to move your 2 rangers under Saruman's control over to the other company, move one of them into Bergil's column so the column doesn't collapse, and you'll still have space to put the other guys there, if that makes sense. Are you planning? Tell me how you're splitting, and I'll advise if there's a better way to do it.
I was thinking of just Saruman heading off on his own.
Right, so that's where I was going to say move either Baratar or Faramir into Bergil's column first.
Yeah. Yep, so that when I move Bergil, I don't lose the spot.
When you move Bergil, the column doesn't collapse.
But I'm just thinking that Saruman moving on his own, maybe he should have someone with him because it's a 2 hazard limit regardless. So
yeah.
Well, at least one of these guys.
You could move one of these guys into a new party, and they'll be off to Saruman's right.
Yeah.
And they'll go with him, but they won't be under his direct influence. He'll have all 10 free.
Yeah. So Faramir, I think I'll get him to go with him. So I'll click on him and organise and put him at the end. And then I'll move Baratar into Bergil's column momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll move Bergil
into Imrahil's.
It's
like a little sliding puzzle game.
Yeah, isn't it? It takes some practice.
And now, even
So
if you wanted
six.
to put Halbrad under Beritar's control, you could do that too. That would collapse the column, so you might want to put another region card right in Halbrad's column just to keep the space there.
Okay, I'll do that. So standard sites.
And then just any region you click on, and you can grab one of the region cards. Anyone watching this is going to get a lesson in how to construct companies and split companies.
11. So now I've got 16, so I've got
So
four free.
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, your wizard has all 10 direct influence to come and influence away characters.
Yep. Okay, so the guys, the Dunedain.
Mm-hmm.
What's the card I picked up? Where is it? Rangers of the North. So they'll go and get him at Bree, which is nice and handy.
Here's an idea. Halbrad is taking up Beritar's direct influence. Beritar gets influence to bring the Rangers in on his card.
Plus the
he
one.
Gets plus
yeah.
2. He could, and he'll also get another 1 from on the card itself, on the faction card. It says Dunedain influencers get a plus 1 to their roll. So he'll have a. If you move Halbrad out from under his control, yes, he'll have plus 4 to his roll. And if you had a friend or 3 or something else, you might even consider saving that for a corruption check or something. But this opens your options up, and it gives Beritar an even better chance to bring the faction in.
Now Breeze in Arthedain. Okay. Right, and I'll just check my resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, lucky I did. I've got a secret entrance. Tap a sage and no hazard creatures key to the site. Which could be beneficial for Bree, I guess.
You have Halbrad there. He can do that.
He's a sage, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, okay, so I play secret entrance. Oh, yeah, I do it now. Mm-hmm. Or do I wait till the movement has a phase?
No. You play it at the end of the organization phase. It says playable only at the end of the organization phase. May not be played on a company moving to a site in a dark domain. Tap a sage and no hazard creatures keyed to the site can be played. So that was actually a fantastic card to play, because I had things that could key to the site.
Great. Right. Okay, that took a while. Sorry. So but you're learning. Well, I'm learning a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I hope you don't mind these drawn-out discussions.
Of course not.
It doesn't get.
I enjoy playing, and I don't mind talking through what we're doing.
Yep. Okay. Great. So I'm organised. Long event phase. So my hazards come off in your organisation phase, so they both stay.
Correct.
It's as simple as that.
Correct.
Yep. So into the movement hazard phase. So then it's the question. I've only got 6, so I'll draw 2. So I've got no protecting cards, so I think I'm better to do the one at greater risk, I suppose, which is the Dunedain going. They're the ones who are going to try and play the faction. Mm-hmm. So there's an argument for Saruman going first, because I'll draw back to 8.
So the Dunedain will be moving through triple wilderness. But their site is unkeyable. They're moving to a border hold, but you you have protected it with a secret entrance. So all I could key to would be the wilderness.
Yeah. Whereas Saruman is going from where? Where is he now?
He's at Austin Edhill. He's at that same site that Imrahil is at.
Yep.
I think you just had an extra region card down underneath, maybe.
Yes. I don't know.
You could drag those back to your
I
hand.
meant to put him across further, is what I meant to do, yeah. I think I meant to have that originally as a spacer. And I've just put that card in the wrong place.
That's all right.
The site card.
If you want to move it, just drag it back to your hand.
Okay. I'll do that. And click, and I'll go site 11. And I'll move Saruman to...
So Saruman and Faramir moving together?
Yeah, yep.
Got it.
Yeah, that's better.
I see.
Yep.
I see how you have it now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep, all right, so Saruman will go, and I'll reveal where he's going to, which is Lorien.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to do the path, because it's not near...
Not nearest haven, right?
It's not the nearest haven, yep. So I click on the regions. So I'm going from Holland, Redhorn Gate, Wilds and Foothills.
Mm-hmm. And we draw from
so they're going through a triple wilderness, yeah.
We draw from the non-haven site, so that means we only draw one each from Austin Edhill.
Okay, so it's 2 hazards keyed to do triple wilderness.
I have no hazards.
Wow.
Yeah, you got lucky.
So I draw to 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do the other side phase. The other company.
Movement hazards for the second company. Moving to Bree.
So they're going
with a secret entrance. So that would be Holland, and then either Rudour or Cardolan and Arthedain.
And they're both wilderness, so it really does not matter, except if you've got a creature that's keyed to a region by name.
Right.
But there wouldn't be any, would there?
Right. All right.
So that's 4 hazards.
So we draw 1 each. Okay. I decided not to play this as an on-guard card on Saruman. I will play it during the during the movement hazard phase of the other company, so you can see it, because I didn't want it to be a surprise. I want you to be able to decide whether you want to deal with it or not.
Okay.
So the Lure of Power.
Ooh.
This is not a corruption card the way that the other cards work, where they play onto a character. This plays as a permanent event onto the table, and then, as it says, the next non-Hobbit character to make a successful influence attempt, and that could be against a faction or an opponent's character, which is specifically written out there, so that would be what you're doing, must immediately make a corruption check modified by -4. Discard this card after the corruption check. So what I could have done is I could have played that on guard at Lorien, and then when you declared your influence attempt, I would reveal it, and he would have this check to make at -4 to his roll. So you can now think about whether you want to do that or not, because if he does successfully influence one of my characters away, he has a corruption check at -4. Faramir could tap to support it, but he'd still need to beat a 2 or a 3.
Yep. And the same is going to apply when I successfully
so here
get the faction.
you could do the faction first, and then this card will go away, and then you could do Saruman's influence attempt. You got two right now. You're looking to set up 2 influence attempts. So really, your choice how you want to do it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say no more hazards on them. So that was my big surprise.
I like it. I like the card. So
people don't expect that card. When they see corruption, they're usually expecting permanent event corruption cards played onto characters. This one plays out to the table, and it can be a big surprise.
Yeah. Got to discard something, so I'll discard that one. Back to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like -4. But I think what I'll do is I'll go for the faction with Beratar, and I know Bergil and Imrahil can
exactly. That's exactly how you want to do it. And that will make the lure of power go away if he successfully brings them in and they tap to lower his roll. All he has to beat is a 2, and then Saruman can go mess around with the dwarves and influence somebody away.
Yep. All right. So what I do is I click on the ranges to say that I'm going to try and influence them.
Right.
So Dunedain get +1, and Beratar
has +2 against the faction, and another 1
+1 direct influence. Yeah.
Right.
So it's a +4.
Correct.
So I tap him to make the influence attempt.
So he needs a 5. No, I'm sorry. He needs a 6. He needs a 6 because he's got +4. He needs greater than a 9. So 6 would be the 10. Would give him 10.
So how do you type that in before you do the roll?
Oh, don't worry about it. Just do the roll. What I would do is I would say +4, and then I would roll.
Yep. +4.
And you could also do greater than 9.
Yeah. I'll do that. Just +4 greater than 9. So /roll. Here we go.
Didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Does that mean that ranges discard?
They do.
I'm a bit sad about that. Could one of the guys tap to help them?
No. What you could have done if you had a friend or 3, you could play that.
I didn't know.
And that would give you +4 to the roll because it counts all the characters in the company.
Right.
That a friend or 3 would also be useful if Saruman is trying to influence one of my characters. He could use that to add to his roll.
Yeah.
But more importantly, in addition to not getting the faction and them discarding, the lure of power stays out because you were not successful.
This hasn't gone well.
Beratar he needed a better roll. A 5 was. I mean, you'd think that he should be able to get them because he's got his bonus against them specifically. He's got +2 against the Rangers of the North. He's got 1 free, and he gets another 1 from on the faction card for being Dunedain. So +4, but he needs greater than a 9.
It doesn't always go your own way. Sometimes they don't come out. So now I've got to decide. So if I do the influence attempt and it's successful, Saruman will have to do a corruption check at -4.
And Faramir could tap to support it.
So it'll be a -3.
So he'd need to roll.
What do I...
You need to roll better than a 3. You need to roll better than a 3. He has 0 corruption on him. So when you roll equal to or 1 less, a normal character is discarded. Wizards, whenever they fail, they're eliminated. So even if you rolled exactly what his corruption was, um, he would fail, and he would be eliminated. So what he'll do, if he makes the influence attempt against one of my characters and he is successful doing it, my character discards, and he has a corruption check at -4. Faramir taps to make it a -3, and if he rolls a 2, 2 minus 3 is -1. If he rolls a 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. Either of those would fail. So a 2 or a 3 with Faramir tapping would fail.
And what do I say? What I would gain is
what you would gain is you would make one of my key guys, discard, and I would have the hassle of either not getting him back until we went through the deck, or some other way having to recycle the deck to get him.
Because I'm thinking if I could get Balin, get rid of your Sage, knowing that you want a Sage to play these rings, that would really be a sort of a slowdown.
Absolutely.
You would have to wait for the Wizard unless you've got other... I think there are other Sages to come, isn't it, Annalena?
I took her out.
Did you put another one in?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Oh!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the calculation for the influence the character away?
So you get to use the influencing character's direct influence, which is 10.
Yep.
Plus a roll.
Yep.
What you need to beat is my character's mind plus my free general influence plus a roll. So I have if you're going after Balin, I have a 7 added to my roll. You have a 10 added to your roll.
So I'm +3.
So you're +3.
And I've got to trade that off with the corruption check at -3.
Right.
Interesting.
That's why I played it out. I didn't want to have it come out as an on guard because I wanted you to be able to think it through. I thought it'd be more fun that way.
Yeah, well, my thinking is, while it would be good to get your Sage off the table, I don't like the idea of
losing Saruman.
I could lose. Oh, well, it wouldn't. Depending what rule we're playing. Well, I know I've discarded the other one, so they're both off the table. So at the least, I'd be that -5 points, isn't it? And,
yes.
And probably not going to have a Wizard for the rest of the game.
Right. Yeah, if if your Wizard fails his corruption check, he's eliminated. So you would not be able to play him again. He's removed from the game.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. I'm just looking in the player's guide for that table of the percentages, which I believe.
Okay.
I want to know what the percentage is of rolling 3 or less. So I'm wanting to roll 4+, which is 11 out of 12. Okay, I'll do it.
Right.
I'm sure I can roll 11 out of 12. So I'm going to try and influence.
If you had, there's a couple other things too, and they don't take effect here, but I'll just so you know, if you had a copy of Balin in your hand.
Yes.
If you reveal it, my character's mind that you're trying to beat is reduced from whatever it naturally is, in this case a 5, to a 0. It negates his mind. +8. Yeah. And if you're successful with the influence attempt, you can play him on your side. You can play your copy of him. He converts from my company to yours.
Yep.
So that's a big point swing. That would be like I lose 2 points, you gain 2 points, and I lose a guy out of my company, and you gain a guy into yours. So it could be a big swing, and it can also be just as effective if you do it the way you're doing it, just to make me discard him.
Yep. All right. So it's what do we say? It's a +3. So
right. You got to
roll first.
Sure, I'll roll.
5 to beat. Oh,
So you did it.
Yeah.
All right.
But I still got to do my corruption
Now
check.
you got to do your corruption check. So what I'll do is I'll drag Balin to the discard pile, and his shield his shield will go with him, because I don't get the choice of handing it off. He leaves the game.
Okay. All right.
So Faramir can tap to give Saruman a +1. And you do not want to roll a 2 or a 3. All right.
Oh.
A 2 and a 3. That works. So Lure of Power goes away. I discard that. He had to roll 1 check, and the card went away.
Yep. So your characters are down to 4 at the moment.
Yeah, and I'll bump my free general influence back up too.
I'm just going to check mine. 6, 5, 11, 12, 17.
We need to move into... We're still in the movement hazard phase.
Okay. So sight phase.
And then you can just click through to... So neither of your sites taps.
No, because the faction wasn't successful. And
an influence attempt doesn't tap the site. An influence attempt against your opponent's stuff does not tap the site.
Oh, resolve to 8 cards. Why am I having to resolve to 8 cards?
Because you're trying to acknowledge end of turn, and you have to be at 8 cards to do that. So did you discard a card?
No, I was trying to click on sight phase to get
because
through sight phase.
It still wants you to be up to 8 cards at your sight phase before you roll into
and
the
I
sight
played
phase.
The faction, yeah.
Go ahead,
I'd
just
be
draw
picking
back
one up anyway.
Draw one up.
Yeah. And then I'll click through the sight phase. So would I still have the option of a discard?
Go ahead. Yeah, you can discard and draw.
Okay. Let me just have a look. Okay, I'll discard that one. Draw. End of turn phase. Discard. I didn't quite do that the right way, but anyway.
That's all right. So I'm going to discard and draw. And I'm done.
And I'm going to say end of my turn.
All right. I got to get away from your wizard.
Yes, because it can happen again, can't it?
Well, it can, but there's a diminishing return to doing it, because I get more free general influence each time you knock one of my guys out, so the roll gets harder. Yep. But yes, you could still do it. All right. So we're organized. We go into our movement hazard phase, and we're going to go to the Iron Hill Dwarf Hold. These long events, they go away.
They come off, don't they?
Yeah. Right before I rolled into movement hazard, they would go away. So I'm going to do /P, since it's the nearest haven, and give you the site path. And you can draw 3, and I have a hazard limit of 3.
So Gates of Morning I can only play on my turn. Is that right? Or can I play
yes. No. You can't play. You can only play it on your turn. That's correct.
Yep. So what to say? So you're going to try and get the faction.
Yeah. And do you know what? The Dwarven Ring of Dwalin's tribe, I got it in here, and it's still I thought I fixed it, but it's still the minion version. The purple version of the card.
Okay, so I've got a 3 hazard limit, wilderness and borderlands,
and a free domain or freehold.
Freehold. Right, okay. There's no point in playing that. That looks to be a good one. Alright, so I'll play Morgul Knight.
Ugh.
So that brings in the Shadowland.
Mm-hmm.
Shadowlands again.
So now I have a Twilight in my hand, but what I can do is I can wait until you play a creature that's keyable to a Shadowland, and then I can Twilight the Morgul Knight in response to the creature being played, and it eliminates the condition that allows the creature to have been played, and it makes him fizzle. He discards because he's no longer playable. So, but
I need to do it to get that.
You have to get the Morgul Knight out to get Shadowhole or Shadowland creatures playable because I'm moving through Wilderness. But
yep.
Twilight is my only protection against that turning these into. But it's to my advantage to wait to play it until you play the creature, because then it makes you discard the creature as well as the Morgul Knight.
Yeah, and I hadn't. But I'm glad you said that because I would have just. If it was me, I would have just put it out as soon as I saw that Morgul Knight hit the deck.
So yeah.
So I'm going to assume that you. Was it a 3 hazard? Is that my first hazard? Yep. So I'm going to assume that you didn't tell me that, and I would have then played.
Right. And I would Twilight.
Sorry. I played the wrong card.
That's okay.
I would have played Minion Stir to increase the effectiveness of the troll, and then I would have played the trolls.
And then I would have played that, and I would target the Morgul Knight, not the Doors of Night.
Yep.
If I targeted the Doors of Night, Morgul Knight was already playable. It was already played when Doors of Night was out. So making Doors go away would not do anything to the Morgul Knight. Morgul Knight would stay.
So I discard the trolls. And unfortunately, that Minion Stir will stay, but I doubt whether it's going to have an impact on me. So that's my 3 hazards, so no more hazards.
All right, so
I'm at 8.
Okay, so I'm down to 8. Dane is going to tap to get the Ironhill Dwarves. He's got 3 free. He gets +2 against the Ironhill Dwarves, so that's 5. He gets another 2 for being a dwarf, so that's 7. He needs greater than an 8.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
Yep.
He gets them. We score.
Well, that was nice. 4.
Well, I've got to do something here. And I can discard and draw. Oh, I missed the site phase again. I tapped the site. Sorry.
Oh, you do tap the site because
because I influenced the faction.
Yep. End of turn discard, righto. Just bear with me. Okay. I don't think there's anything that I want to do. Nope. So, I haven't got marshalling points, so that's probably a reason why I should be doing it. Discarding something. Okay, so discard that one. Draw. Didn't help. Okay, done. Okay.
All right.
Yep. Start turn. Untap all. Now, so what have I got? I've got 3 GI at the moment, but I'll first thing I'll do, I think, is I'll put Faramir back under Saruman's control. So first of all, I could do the. How do you do the swap?
So, well, you know what you could do? Just do Saruman, do organize Saruman, and put him in locale 11. And then do organize Faramir and put him in locale 11.
Oh, that makes better sense, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, swap wouldn't have helped. They just would have gone to the different.
I mean, it would have done the same thing. It would have done the same thing.
So that makes me up to 8 free. And what have I got in my hand? Now, my wizard's in play, don't tell me. So my wizard's in play, so to bring a character in, the wizard has to be either at a haven or the character's home site to bring him into play.
Correct. Or a character can bring him in under direct influence. Someone who has, like Elrond has 4 direct influence. He could go to Minas Tirith and bring Boromir into play, even if Saruman is in play somewhere else, because he's using his entire direct influence to bring the character in, and he comes in as a follower.
Yep.
But yes, Boromir can come in at Lorien now with Saruman.
Yep.
And he could come in either as a follower, because he's still got room to control that, or he could come in taking up some of the 9 free general influence you have.
I'll bring him in as a follower. So he's got 1 character point, so I'll up that to 7. Now, I've also got Bergil in my hand, so I've got to think about... And he's only a 2, so...
Right. He's not worth any points.
No.
He's like the low mind dwarves. They're sort of cannon fodder.
-1 to all his corruption checks and -1 to influence checks. So really, yeah.
He's good. He's good support. He's good to go with Denethor when, like, I had him in play with Denethor when Denethor had the aligned Palantir, and he was tapping to support the corruption check.
Yep.
To support Denethor's.
Yep. I've got no resource cards in my marshalling point cards in my hand, so it's probably worth manoeuvring one of the companies. Well, in theory, I suppose Saruman could stay at Lorien and...
You could bring him in the next turn.
And he could just join them there. He couldn't be a follower. But before I do that, I've got Gates of Morning, so I'll play that.
All right.
Take Doors of Night out of play and Minion Stir.
Sure.
I'll discard that. And... I've got the Sun, so I'll play... Oh, I'm not in the long event yet.
Go ahead.
I'm still organised.
You're still organising. You're fine.
So strictly speaking, I can't play it, can I, until I move into the long event phase?
Correct. So you would basically need to get your destination sites for the companies that are moving down on the table, and then you would go into the long event phase.
Yep. Okay.
Or actually,
now
then
I've
you would
also
have
got,
any end of organization phase cards. There are some that say playable only at the end of the organization phase. So you would do that first, and then it would be long event phase.
Yep. I've also got 2 fords, so I can use a ford. So I've just got to decide where I'm going.
You got
basically.
rangers all over the place. Faramir and Baratar. Yeah.
Okay, so so palantirs are just a major item, aren't they?
So you could go to up in Forachel, which is the wilderness north of Arthedain.
Yeah.
The Lossodon Cairn is a greater item palantir site.
Greater item. Oh, it's greater item, right? Yeah, so I've got to go to a greater item site.
That was where the palantir were sank in the sea when the shipwrecked. Back in backstory of the Lord of the Rings.
The only is there any alternative? Because is there an argument that's sort of moving away from? It's still within shooting distance of Rivendell. If I want to do some healing,
right? It is a haven. I think Rivendell is the nearest haven.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Yep. All right. So I'll go there in the hope that I pick up a palantir.
Because you've got at least if you kept the 2 that I had in there, I had 2 greater item palantir, and either of them would play.
I did. Yeah.
Either of them would play.
I think I've. And there's also 2 major palantir, I think. So there's 4 that could come up. All
now,
that would be playable.
Actually,
there.
A couple of them are special item. There are the palantir of Minas Tirith it's not a greater or major item. It's a special item because it's only playable at Minas Tirith. And then the palantir of Orthanc, which was Saruman's, is the same way. It's a special item only playable at Isengard. So those 2 are limited where they're playable, but the other 2 greater item palantir are both playable, either playable where you're going.
Yep. Oh, let's give it a go anyway. So they'll go there, and Saruman, he could stay at Lorien to bring in Bergil next turn, or he could head to. I think he will stay there because it's a known plan. And all right, so I'll get my site card.
And don't forget, you've got a Ford and a Son. Ford plays at the organization phase or at the end of the organization phase.
Yep.
And tap a ranger, and no creatures can be keyed to wilderness.
I tried to drag it instead of clicking on it. That's it. Right, so I'm getting at the end of my organisation, so I click. So I'm going to play the Ford, and I'll leave it out.
Right.
And I'm going to click on a Ranger.
Baratar's your guy.
Yep. And since the Wizard is staying still, there's no reason to play the other Ford.
Right.
So I'll leave that in my hand. So now I'm organised.
Now you got
I'm
your
into the
Son.
long mid phase. Yep, now I play my Son, which is going to give them
+2, and hazard creatures and automatic attacks are -1.
Well, let's hope I pick up and if I move the Wizards first, I'm going to pick up 4 at least. So fingers crossed. So I'm into the movement hazard phase.
All right. Yeah, you would do the staying company first to draw back up to hand size, and then you get the bonus cards when the second company moves.
Yep. All right. Yep.
So I have only to play Key to a Haven.
And I draw.
There's my daily siren, by the way. You heard that last time. I said the daily siren. You heard
Yeah.
that last time we played. I don't know what's going on out there.
Oh, it's just like a emergency vehicle thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I'm going to play Allure of the Senses on Saruman. That's all I have. So I say no hazards.
I actually did forget to play one card.
What is it? Go ahead. It's the Fellowship, but now I'm thinking, no, I wouldn't play it because Well, you don't
I'm
have
intending
enough.
to
You need 4 there.
Bergil.
You need to have at least 4 characters in the company to play a Fellowship.
Yep.
So when he comes in
that's
next
working
turn,
well.
let him come in next turn and then Fellowship the company. And there'll be an extra prowess and an extra bonus on their corruption rolls. And
so
maybe
you're still having trouble. I was just going to say, your dragons are still proving hard to play.
Yes, I've seen a couple. I took a couple out, but I've not had the combo again because we're playing alternate environment hazards and resource. You've got the doors, and I've got the doors, and you've got the gates. It's tough to keep it out there long enough to make use of it.
To get the combination going.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I draw back to 8.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they were hazards. So anyway. Oh, what have I got here? Where did that? I hadn't looked to see. I have got a line palantiri.
So that will work.
I've got to hold on to that.
Once you get the palantiri, you put that on it and get you. If you're going to store the palantiri, you move it back to the haven, and then you align it, and you can even store it at the haven aligned because it's not moving anywhere. So it goes into your marshalling point pile along with the points from the palantiri. You get 2 extra miscellaneous points. But it does give 2 extra corruption points too, so you have to be careful when you make the check to store it.
So just before I continue with the movement, I just had a thought, field thought is, so you've got 4 faction points. I failed with my faction, and I've only got 1 faction in the deck. So in terms of the end game, is there a way for me to get that faction back out of my discard pile to try again to get it played? Because otherwise you're going to get +8 for faction points.
Yeah. Not with just cards from the wizards. There are cards in the later sets that let you bring factions back from your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. You can do all of the factions in your discard pile. So sometimes people will sideboard in factions to the discard pile. 5, tap your wizard to take 5 resources to your discard pile, and you take a bunch of factions, and then you play the card. It's called Horns, and it lets you shuffle all the factions in your discard pile into your deck. So it would be either factions you've brought into your discard or that you didn't influence into the game. Or you could play a Smoke Rings, which is another card that lets you take a resource or character from your discard or sideboard and shuffle it into your deck.
Okay.
That's that card gets used all the time.
Yeah.
But no, the way what you need to do is you need to go through your deck as quickly as you can, and you're well ahead of me. You're 24 cards left. I have 33, and yours are playing a lot faster. If you could go through your deck as quickly as you can and maybe draw that faction again before the end of the game.
Before and not call, yeah. Can you remember? You didn't put another faction in the side? So
I don't have. We didn't do a sideboard. I don't have it. I don't think
you did though.
Oh, did I have a sideboard in there? So.
Yeah, you got about 12 cards in there or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were.
I've got a feeling one of them is it Muster Disperses?
Muster Disperses is the hazard that targets a faction.
Yeah. That's the alternative, isn't it, to try and take out your faction?
Yes, that's correct. You could do that, or you could move your wizard to the Iron Hill Dwarf Hold, and he could try to influence the faction the way he influenced a character. Now, again, I get to add my free general influence, which right now is 7.
Just 7. So it'd only be a +3.
Right.
If I took my followers off, yeah.
But not the worst idea. I mean, you could very easily knock what you are identifying as an 8-point faction, because if mine's in and yours isn't, mine's an 8-point faction. You could knock that out with your wizard.
Yeah. All right. That was just a detour there.
Oh no, it's plenty of strategy in the game, so it's always worth thinking it through and exploring the possibilities.
Yeah.
There's a card in the Wizards called Wizard's Laughter, and it cancels. It's a resource. It's a spell. It cancels a hazard or an influence attempt against any of the Wizard's characters' stuff. So if you're trying to influence characters, if you're trying to influence a faction, if you're trying to influence anything on my side of the table, when you do it, I play the Wizard's Laughter, and it cancels the attempt.
Yeah, I remember that in the book where he laughs at...
laughs at Saruman, and he breaks the spell.
Yeah, all right. All right, so I'm in my other site phase, movement hazard phase.
Right, yep. So we're getting ready to move these guys. So they've been forwarded, so they have nothing. Creature can be keyed to wilderness. They are moving to a ruins and lairs. I get to draw 2. And I have a hazard limit. Yeah. I have no hazards. I'm drawing the dragons. I'm not drawing the desolation.
Right.
I've drawn 3 dragons and no desolation.
Just while I think of it, we'll probably talk about it. It's saying, I click on site. Hazard player needs. I need to
discard some cards here.
I was wondering, because of this issue that we're not moving into these shadowlands and dark domains. Maybe the next game could we put a rule or something like we both have to visit 5 shadowlands, or every second term we've got to go to a shadowland or a domain or something like that, so that we can both be confident that our creatures are going to be keyable just to see them in action.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And it's fair for both players. It's still a contest, but it's a darker contest.
Right. It's a contest with a little bit more of a challenge to it than just a race.
All right, so you're there. 8.
I have nothing to play.
Right, so I've got my side.
I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong card. I meant to. That was supposed to be no more hazards. It says on guard is possible effect. There is no on guard.
Yeah. So we're in the site phase. I'm just checking this lure of the senses. It's going to. I'm going to do a corruption check
at the untap phase.
He's at a haven. Untap phase, right? Yeah.
So he is at a haven. So he will, before he gets a chance to try to remove that card, he will have 1 check to make. But he'll have those 2 characters could tap to support it if they wanted to, and 1 could tap and it would be automatic. If 1 character taps, he could not fail the corruption check.
Yeah. But that means he'd be tapped for the turn. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I didn't pick up anything, so there's nothing I want to do at the site phase. So I just discard the Bree. Put him back in the location deck because he wasn't tapped. and I go into the end of turn phase. I'll discard the Ford.
Discard.
And what do I want to get rid of? Well, I'm not going to need 2 fellowship. Oh, well, no, I could end up needing 2 fellowships because I'll have 2 companies of 4 characters each. So that's all right.
Mm-hmm. Now, you won't be able to play it on that company that's out of the Haven until they're back in the Haven.
Oh, right.
So
yep.
you need to have 4 characters or allies, and it needs to be playable during the organization phase at a Haven.
Yeah.
But if you have a couple of them in your hand, you can double them up on the same company if you want.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So 2 fellowships on the Saruman company with Faramir, Boromir, and Bergil once he comes in would make them pretty tough.
Yeah.
Between the Fellowship and the Sun, if you get another Sun out, because that Sun will go away next turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could get really strong. They could go fight the dragons that I'm trying to play.
Bring them on. I'm just reading the text on one of my hazards to see if I want to discard it. It's a big block of text. I don't want to tell you which one it is so that you don't, so you're not alerted. Oh, no, I'll tell you what it is because you might have some comments on it. It's the Siege card.
Okay, Siege is a great card to tie me down at that site that I'm at now. But because I'll be moving, I'll get to leave it and you won't be able to play it on there. What it does is it creates an orc attack that happens at the start of the site phase.
3 at 7. Yep.
And it makes it hard for the characters to... It's a permanent event, so it stays on the site. And if they're trying to move a big company away from the site, it counts the number of non-scouts and subtracts that from
Which
a roll.
in your cases, yeah.
Subtracts it from a roll, and if you don't roll high enough, you can't move. So it basically... the siege, the idea is that you have been caught while the siege is taking place, and you can't get out of the site.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got to roll...
So you need scouts.
You've normally got to roll 6 or better.
You need scouts. Scouts don't count against trying to leave, but everyone else does.
So it'd be a 6 or better, but because you've got 3 characters, it'd be a 9 or better?
Right. So what you either have to do is you have to get rid of the siege, which we don't have cards to do that in this game because this set doesn't have them. Or you split them up into smaller companies and you move them all to each one of them, or try to move each one of them to a different site.
Okay.
But it can be an annoying card, but it really only plays mostly at the Haven site, so you're about 1 turn late getting it.
All right. And now that you know it's there, you won't go...
So I'm not going back to any of those border holds or freeholds.
Yep.
So you would just discard it at this point because I got the one faction that I needed to get, and the rest of what I'm trying to do is rings and other items, but they won't play at a border or a freehold. All right. And I finished my discard and draw, so I'm done.
Okay, now I've finished the turn. So neither of us have played, or there's been no ring or palantiri played yet, and we're, 7 turns in?
How about that?
It's funny.
All right. We're going to go up to a dragon site. Since we're already up here in the...
Dancing Spire in the Grey North. In the Withered Heath.
So it's Iron Hills to Withered Heath. It's a 3-card draw for each of us. Looks like a little bit of everything can be played there. Minor, major, greater, or gold ring. And it has a dragon auto attack. So I'm going to draw 3. Of course, they're all hazards. And you have a hazard limit of 3.
Okay. Have a look. No, I haven't got a lot of good stuff this time, unfortunately.
So this would be where you would play that Awakened Denizens that doubles the strikes at Ruins and Layers. Because I've got 2 strikes at 11, it would turn it into 4 at 11. And it's really tough to keep somebody untapped for that.
I've got 2 Morgul Knights, but I can't use them. Very frustrating, because I could have played one of them and picked it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you would have turned it all into Shadowlands.
And then... Oh, no, I'm getting confused.
Morgul Knight is the one that turns Wilderness to Shadowland?
Yep. What's the one that picks up a card from your discard?
The Mouth of Sauron.
That was the one I was thinking. I could have brought in the dragon, the one that you mentioned. But yeah, so I can't play the Morgul Knights. I've got another Siege, but
not playable at that site. Not at the Ruins
so
and
all
Layers.
I've got is this guy. Do I take the risk? Let's have a look. What's his prowess? Yeah, okay. I'll play Tom. That's I think the third.
So maybe I can kill something here. So he's the toughest one. He's a 13 prowess. He's great if you could get that minion stir out, because he's 2 strikes at 14, which is pretty powerful. But otherwise, I've got a double wilderness creature. It's a 13 prowess. And I think I'm going to let... I'm going to let him face it.
So he's going to be a 4.
So he's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ooh.
So he needs a 5 to tie it or a 6 to beat it.
Yep.
Beat it.
That's a score. Okay, so... now I'll get in the habit, so I will play something on guard.
Okay.
And select the site. Select the card. And no more hazards.
Alright, so I will move Ironhill Dwarfhold to my discard pile. I have to go to 10. I have 10 in the hand, so I've got to discard down.
I've discarded down.
I'm trying to decide what I want to do here. Okay. All right. So I go to the site phase. I will enter. So if you bluffed me and you have an Awakened Denizens, you could reveal it and turn that from a 2 at 11 to a 4 at 11.
But no, it's not playable.
Okay. So
do I have to click something to say that, or
no? You can just
or do I just drag it back to my hand at
well,
this
you
stage?
should have choices in the buttons, in the yellow buttons, the mustard colored buttons on the side. Is there a return on guard to hand, or bluff,
No.
or maybe playable?
There's reveal on guard, possible effect, draw card, and next side.
Click possible effect, and then you can. I think you get it changes your options, and now you could take it back to hand, and it will say bluff.
I can reveal or bluff on guard.
If it's a bluff, that just takes it back to your hand.
Okay. Select the card to move to your hand.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Got it.
Very good.
Got it. All right. So these guys have to face each a strike at 11. Dane is going to lucky strike his, and he's not going to tap. So he's a 2 versus 11, and he gets 2 rolls. He needs a 9. So he wounded. So you can get a body check on him.
Okay, body check 11, body check 8. Oh. Can you believe you're not having a good run?
All right. So Gimli
still has to face it, doesn't he?
He still has to face it. Yeah. He's a 5. He's gonna.
No reason not to tap.
Yeah, he's got to tap.
Oh, sorry. No, you might choose not to tap if you still want to play something.
But see, he goes from a 5 down to a 2, and he again needs a 9. Yeah, you know what? That's the way this game is going. Let's give it a try. So 2 versus 11.
Oh, surely not. I wouldn't have mattered.
All right. Go ahead, roll another body check.
What's his? He's an 8.
He's an 8.
As well. You know this is going to happen. Yep. Oh, my goodness.
What a game. What a game.
That's just poor old Bofa.
You get the rolls at the right time, you can kill a lot of guys. All right, end of turn. I'm going to keep that. I'll discard that and draw up. End of turn discard. Oh, I finally drew my wizard. So you need to go to 8 cards because you drew that on guard back. So you'll have 9 in hand, and you need to go to 8.
Oh, so I go back to 8 as part of the site.
Yes, at the end of the phase, you return your on guard cards to hand at the end of the turn, and then you also go to hand size, and that would be discarding instead of discarding and drawing. All right.
And now I can do my discard.
No. You did, because you took that extra card to hand, you're over the hand limit, and you don't get to draw any. You just discard.
Oh, so really that discard I just did would really happen after you've acknowledged the EOT discard.
Yeah, yeah. But you just get the one, when on-guard cards go back to your hand, typically you're not getting to draw anymore. You'll end up having more cards in hand than your hand size, and you don't get to draw. You just discard.
All right, so you got time for another turn?
Yeah, keep going.
So 10 to 12, yeah, okay. I'm loving it, he says. Start turn. Untap all. Right, I still haven't picked up a Palantir. All I've got is that alignment.
We're not really drawing cards very well, are we?
No, not in terms of our resource strategy. So I've got 9 free GI. So I'm at the. Let me
You're
just
at
check
your
this.
haven,
The
so you can bring
census.
Baratar in.
At the end of the untap. So first of all, I've got to do my corruption check
Right.
for lure of senses.
Right. So if you don't want to tap anyone, he needs to beat a 2.
You've got a beta 2, yeah. So given I've got no resources, I think I will tap 1 just to be doubly.
So you tap 1 and he's automatic. He does not have to roll.
So I'll tap Boromir to keep my ranger skill untapped. And so that, and now I can tap Saruman to try
to remove it.
And I need greater than a 6. Okay, so let's try that.
Look at you. Yep. All the rolls.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Can do no wrong. Actually, that wasn't a corruption check, was it? Because I've got friend or 3 now.
No. He had that was a remove corruption card roll, not a corruption check.
So that doesn't help. Yep.
So what you can do now that all those cards are gone, you bring your extra guy in a new company. Yep. So he's right down at the end by the wizard.
And he's 2, so my GI comes down by 2.
Right. And now you can play a fellowship on them if you want. They'll have to stay together, but they'll all get a bonus to their prowess and to their corruption check. Now click on it again and then click on Saruman.
Yep, that's that thing, so that it sits with the company. Yep. Now, I've got another one, so the question is, do I play it?
Oh, yeah. Put it on them. Then those guys are unbeatable.
Okay.
And just click on Saruman again.
So you think that's a better option than putting it on the other company, because I might pick up another character or something and want to add it in?
Yeah, you need to get an ally too, and that other company can get the ally. And they're all Dunedain and they're pretty tough. This is helping your wizard, especially the 2 fellowship on the wizard's company, because if he gets Palantir, he can use them. He gets a +2 to his corruption check. So whenever he uses a Palantir, it's almost like he's doing it without any kind of corruption check needed. He automatically passes.
Yep. Alright, so we're coming towards the end of my organisation. I've got a Ford, so I've got to decide what I'm doing now. So, so again, it's the same. Well, one guy, there's an argument for the Dunedain staying at Lossenden Cairn in case I draw a...
Right. Draw that greater item Palantir.
Yeah.
Well,
I could move the wizards first.
You're going to draw back up. You've already played 3 cards out of your hand, so...
So I might move Saruman somewhere. So where are they now? So they're at Lorien. So I could move them to either to a what do you call it, a greater item site, or to one of the specifics, being Minas Tirith or Isengard, was it we were saying?
Right. And each of those are within a 3-region move. And they're both at the nearest haven. Lorien is the nearest haven for both of them.
Wait, I've lost Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith is in Anorian.
In Anorian.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Which is a border.
It's a free
land.
You'll move through Rohan, which is a borderland, and Anorian, which is a free domain.
Oh yeah. And alternatively, if I go to Isengard, I've got to move into a borderland.
You'd move through 2 borderlands.
I'm at Lorien. Or could I go? I could go via Fanghorn, couldn't I?
Mm-hmm. If you chose to, sure. Why? There's no reason to go through 2 wilderness if you don't have to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You
So
go
2
Walden
borderlands is
foothills.
not as bad as 2
Right.
wilderness.
There are no double borderland creatures. There are double wilderness creatures.
Yep.
I'm holding.
All right, so
I'm holding 2 of them in my hand.
Where would I be without all this help? All right, so I'll go to Isengard. So I'll get my sight card out for that. Which is in Anorian.
No, Gap of Ison, if you're going to Isengard.
Sorry. Yep. Gap of Ison. Got confused. Draw that to hand. Close. Put that on locale 11. Right, so I'll end of the organisation phase. I play my forward, and I tap
Faramir, right?
Faramir, who I kept free for this purpose, the possibility. And I've still got an untapped character, Bergil, to play something if it comes up. Right, so that is organised, done. Long events, they come off because they're my long events.
Right, so it's just the sun. Sun comes off. Gates of Morning is a permanent event, so that stays out.
And the forwards there just to remind us.
Yes, there's a short event just reminding us that they have no creatures.
Into the movement hazard phase, and the moving company I'm going to do first. So I reveal I'm going to Isengard, and its nearest is Lauren, so I can just do the /P.
Right.
Click on Isengard. So it's 4 hazards, ruins and lair, double borderland, and a wilderness.
So I draw
and we
2.
Draw 2 each. And I've picked up a Palantir, and it's the greater.
Good, that's what you needed.
And can you believe it? I've picked up the Palantir of Minas Tirith.
Well, you're not going to Minas Tirith. You're going to Isengard.
I thought for a moment I was going there.
Your luck is still holding well.
Yeah, to get that greater one, that's good.
So I will play a Doors of Night.
I've got no Twilight.
Okay, so the Gates of Morning goes.
It goes to discard.
I'll play the Cave Drake. Now, I can't key him to the Wilderness, but I can key him to the Ruins and Lairs. So because Isengard is Ruins and Lairs, I will play it keyed to the site, not to the regions. Now, your guys are all +2 with their prowess, with the 2 fellowship.
Right.
So, I think... I think I'll go here and here. Faramir and Bergil. So Faramir is tapped. He's a 4, 5, 6 versus a 10.
Yep, and I've got nothing to... No resource cards, so 6v10.
And now hold on a second before you roll. I chose the other 2. I chose the other one as well, Bergil. He is a 4... He would be a 6 versus 10. So there's not really any advantage rolling one versus the other. You want the character who's less likely to die to go first so that the fellowships stay out for the weaker guy. But these guys are basically the same, so it doesn't matter. But that's just a little wrinkle to remember when you're playing, when you've got multiple strikes. If somebody dies, the fellowships go away, and then there's other strikes still to come. They don't benefit from them.
Tap. Yes, that's right, because I'll be tapping Bergil, so they'll both be 6, yeah. All right, so I'll roll. So Faramir's rolling. 6 versus 10.
Gets it?
Yep. And then I tap Bergil because I've got nothing to play.
Right.
There's no reason to keep him untapped.
He's
to
also a
risk it.
6.
Yep. So slasher. Oh.
Score it.
So score. So that's finally got a. What happened there?
What's that? It's in your marshalling point pile.
Oh, I didn't see that it had gone. Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
up my kill by 1. I was
I'll
hovering
play
over the
another
doors at
one.
night.
I'll play another one and see if I can get either of
Right.
those guys again. So now.
So they'll both. They're 5. Oh, you can choose again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, Bergil is 1 lower. He's a 4 tap to a 3, but back up to a 5. Faramir is a 5 tap to a 4, up to a 6. Do Faramir first, because he has a better chance of beating his than Bergil. And that way Bergil gets the bonuses from the Fellowship, just in case.
And you're going for the same characters.
Same characters, right.
Yep. And this one is.
He's a 5.
He's a 5, yep. You must get one of these, surely.
Tied it.
I tied it.
All right.
You still got 2 more hazards.
That's it. I got nothing left.
Okay. So now these other guys are staying still, so it's just 4 hazards to... Oh, hang on, I've got to draw back first.
Mm-hmm.
Draw back to 8. Yep. And so it's just 4 hazards keyed to Faucet and Can. To Ruins and Lair, sorry.
Right. I have nothing.
Just these drag. I know how you feel.
Well, actually, I have a handful of resources now at this point. I played a couple. I played my 2 cave drakes that I had.
Yep.
But drew back resources instead, so nothing else.
Yep. So I'm not doing anything at Isengard, so I just put Lorien back in the location. Oh, click on the site phase. So I'm going into the site phase. Now these guys, I do want to try and play this greater item, so it's 2 strikes at 8. Are they affected by Doors of Night? No. 2 at 8, and the Palantir. They're able to use search or play deck. Do I have to think about who I'm going to play it
so
on?
Here, what I would do, you've got 2 at 8. I would let Imrahil and Baratar face it. Halbarad can actually carry the Palantir, even though he's as weak as he is. There's no reason not to give it to him. He is also a sage, so he could play the aligned Palantir at some point once you get it back. Keep him alive, but if Imrahil and Baratar face the auto attacks, if they tap, both of them are they just need a 2 or they need a 3.
Yep. Okay. 5. Yeah, so is there an argument for the... Oh, they've both got to face whatever happens, so it doesn't matter what order. Yep. So face attacks, locale 5, next character.
So tapping, he did 5 versus 8.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. And then other locale is 8. He taps. It's the same. Yep, just.
Good.
So they're in, so I click on the Palantir, choose a character, Halberd, and I tap Halberd.
Yeah. And don't forget to done facing attacks.
Oh. Done facing and tap the site. So now I go into the end of turn phase. Just a sec before I do that.
Good.
Can I play I have gotten the line. I picked up another one. Can I play that now?
I would not play it now because if you move, it will discard.
Oh, so first,
get it where
I
you
could go
get
to
it
a
where
haven
you
and then
yes,
play it.
Get it where you're going,
Set
and
it a haven,
and then align it, and then store it at the haven while it's aligned.
Yeah. Okay. So I go. Oh, so that's 3 points. So I'll up my items to 3. 3. And I go into the end of turn phase. Now discarding. Yep, I want to keep those. I want to keep that. And I'll keep those, so I'll discard that. And draw 2 to get to 8.
You drawing hazards now?
No, I've drawn another Palantir. I've got the Palantir of the other greater one, Osgiliath, and another Align. So it's quite...
All right.
They're all coming at once.
Discard and draw. Let's say done.
It's end of the turn, so here's the time.
So do you want to take one more turn each, or do you want to stop here? Either is fine with me.
Oh, Alison's not home yet. Sorry. Yeah, one more turn each, and then I'll get lunch.
Okay.
She's visiting her mum.
All right. So I start turn. I untap my one character worth no points. This is the same base. You wore down all the dwarves last game when we played. They all corrupted. Now I've got them all dead. But Gandalf actually finally comes into play, and he's going to come in. He'll come in at Rivendell.
So he can come in.
He can come in at any haven.
At any haven.
That's his That's his special power, right? But here's something. Here's a card I added that we'll see. I'll let you see how it works. So it's playable during the organization phase. It's the Favor of the Valar. You shuffle your hand and your discard pile into your deck, and you draw 8 more cards. It basically resets your entire deck. It leaves the discarded sites in the discard pile. But I haven't drawn any more of my characters. They're still in the deck there, but I'm going to see if I can maybe get some in this reset. So I can click on Favor of the Valar, and it will just automatically shuffle everything back up and give me 8 cards. And it did.
Now that is neat. That he's coded that. That you click that. Wow.
So it puts 8 cards into my hand. It puts everything else into my play deck, and it leaves the Ironhill Dwarfhold, which is the only site I've tapped. The only site I have tapped is in my discard pile. All right.
So that gives me more time.
Oh,
it's going to be longer before you can call free council on play deck exhausted.
If I don't get to 20 points, which I am nowhere near. All right. So because Bofer is only a 2-mind character, when I move him, he will not let me draw any cards. But you will be able to draw cards as the hazard player.
And what's the minimum mind before you can
Three.
draw?
Three. You have to
Three.
have a 3 mind character, and the 3 mind characters are all worth at least 1 point, one marshalling point. So they have
Okay.
to. You have to have a character worth a point to draw cards. If
Yep.
you've got characters none of which are worth any points, their minds are all too low to let you draw any cards.
Yep.
So I am organized. So here's an interesting card. I was thinking that there were going to be more Nazgul permanent events.
I took them out.
Yeah, the Praise to Elbereth is a short event, and it lets me tap characters to cancel the Nazgul permanent events that are in play. So they can, like, if Ren is in play, or if Uvatha is in play on the table, I can tap characters and make them discard.
Yep.
But in addition to that, because this is a strange resource that benefits from a Doors of Night.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Couldn't get my head around it for a moment.
because the stars are out, because it's nighttime. When we're singing songs to Elbereth, we all gain 1 prowess until the end of the turn. So that is not a long event. That will only work on me. It will go away at the end of my turn, and it won't benefit you. But you're all of those cards that you've got over there, the fellowships and all, are plenty. And we're going to move the dwarf back to Lorien, and we're going to move Gandalf. And let's do Gandalf first. So I go to the movement hazard phase, and he's going to move to the ring site.
Okay, so it's one.
So it's 1 card each.
Yep. Another palantiri. I've got 3 palantires in my hand.
Juggle
and
them.
1 on the table.
Juggle
I've got
them.
all of them.
I want to see you juggle them.
They're too precious. Oh dear. Okay,
right. So he has a double wilderness to a Ruins and Layers. And Doors of Night is out, so if you have a Morgul Knight, you can turn those 2 wilderness into 2 Shadowlands and let your trolls attack.
I have got a Morgul Knight, but I haven't got any creatures.
All right.
So, but your other company is going to be moving.
Yeah.
So I could play it in the hope. There's no good just having them sit here. I think I will play. I've got 2 long events. I'll play them both.
All right.
And just, you never know.
And then you get to draw back up.
Yeah. That gets me.
So another card.
Yep. So draw a card, no hazards.
And next movement, next company.
Next movement hazard phase.
So he's moving back, so I'll use /P on the Dancing Spire. And you get to draw 3. You get to draw 3. I do not get to draw any, because his mind is lower than 3.
Oh, so this is, it was worth playing those long events. Getting the 3. Up with. I've got Awakened Denizens, but that's no good to me because you're not going to Ruins and Layers.
Now, Awakened Denizens, is that a long event?
Yes.
You could play it because Gandalf is at a Ruins and Layers. You play it on Beaufort's turn, on his movement hazard phase, but it will affect Gandalf's company at the Ruins and Layers.
Oh, okay. And I've got a 2 hazard.
If it was a short event and it had to target the site, if it says playable on a Ruins and Layers, the Ruins and Layers site gains extra whatever, You wouldn't be able to do it because you can't target Gandalf's sight during Beaufort's turn. But because it's a
Right.
long event and it just blanket applies to all ruins and lairs, you can play it, and it will affect Gandalf.
See, these are subtleties. Like if we were playing and you weren't talking and giving advice, I wouldn't pick that up. There's so many things I wouldn't pick up. It's so good learning all this stuff.
Yeah, you need to know.
It's great.
You need to know all the nuance of the game.
Yeah, there's so many subtleties. So I will play it because
there you go. Sure.
And then my second hazard. So I'm just checking. So wilderness. Yeah. So luckily I did pick up the half trolls.
All right. So the trolls, it is the minion stir, take them from 2 at 10 to 3 at 11. So it's really going to be 1 at 13 for him to face.
Yep.
He has the praise to Elbereth, gives him a +1 prowess because Doors of Night is in play. He is a 4, taps the shield. So he's actually a 4, 5, 6 versus a 13.
Yep. Have you got something to help him?
He's gonna play a lucky strike. So he gets 2 rolls.
It's still not easy.
No, it's not. He needs a 7 to tie it.
7, yeah.
That's not going to do it. Now, how about the other end? How about give me a 12 here now?
Yeah.
That'll work. 9 will do it. So he killed them.
Yep.
He's doing something right. He's the only one.
And up your kill points.
Oh, right. Sorry.
So no more. Oh, first of all, I'll draw all back, and then I'll click on no hazards.
Oh, you got 9, so you need to go to 8, and I got 7, so I need to.
Well, I've got a muster. That's not going to be any good to me.
No, not until you get a faction.
Yeah, which I can't do. But I might be shortly reshuffling. Yeah, but I don't really want to hold it that long, so I think I'll discard that. And no more hazards.
Okay.
And I don't have to click on next move, I suppose, because there's no more.
So now, the sight phase. Gandalf, if he enters, he has, instead of 3 at 5, he has 6 at 5, which is really translates to 1 at 10. And if he doesn't tap, he's down to a 3. I'm going to enter, and he's going to play a risky blow to stay untapped. So he's a 6 versus a 10.
Right.
Good.
That's better.
Oh, I forgot the praise to Elbereth gave him an extra prowess too. Now he's going to tap and get a ring after all this time. Finally. And we'll go to end of turn. And I will discard 1 and acknowledge end of turn.
Well, I've got 2 friends or 3. I don't really need 2 of them at the moment. At best, I need 1.
Right.
Or maybe for, or even Halberd at the moment is. Yeah. If I go to a haven and I store, once I've got that aligned, I would have to do a corruption check to store it.
You would, and it would, if the alignment is on there, it would take it up to 4 corruption points because it gives 2 the Palantir gives 2, and the aligned Palantir gives another 2. So the fellowships or the friend or threes or the tapping to support are really important because that's like 5 points that you're trying to store. So you got to make sure that you pass it. A friend or 3 would do it automatically.
Yep.
Because he'd have +4 to his roll, and he'd have a 4 to beat.
Yep. So I'm not going to need 2 straight away, but I don't really want to hold it waiting to get another Palantir to use it, so I'm going to discard that just so I can do a draw. Oh, that's interesting. Right, so done.
Okay. We'll give the end of turn.
All right, to my turn, and then we'll stop.
And then we'll stop.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So start turn, untap all. Now, let me just check that align Palantir. So
you need to have a sage in the company with the Palantir to play it. And Halbarad is your sage.
Yep. So I may as well. Oh, but
you don't want to play it before you move.
Here. Yeah.
Right. You want to. That's right. Yeah. You want to move back to the Haven, and then your next turn before you store it, just play the align. Or you could align it at the end of the turn. You could do that too, just to get that card out of your hand.
Oh right. Yep. Yeah. Once I know I've got
once you're at Haven. Once you're at the Haven, you could align it at the end of the turn, and then it'll be set for next turn to store.
Okay, right, so it's going to be played. Yep, so I've got 2 aligned Palantars, and I've got 2 Palantars, so I should move one of the companies. Yeah, so I think Halberd will move to a Haven to align that one. Saruman.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Saruman's company could move to pick up another Palantir.
Right. Something to keep in mind is the Palantir of Illuminus, which is what Halbarad is holding.
Yep.
Once that is aligned, the character who's holding it can tap the Palantir to search through the play deck for a Sage only card, play deck or discard pile. So he could get another aligned Palantir. So you don't have to hold both of those aligned Palantirs if you have 2. Once you align the Palantir of Illuminus, it could get back the other aligned Palantir from your discard pile.
Right, okay.
Just a little wrinkle of what that Palantir does is that it gives Sage only cards.
I think I remember. Theo just.
Yep.
We let him know we're chatting.
We're not in the Discord sound room, so he won't be able to join. But you can tell him that we're
on our last turn.
Yeah.
I might just put. So, what was I going to say?
So you were thinking about the aligned Palantir and moving to.
Yeah. The other thing is I've got another fellowship, so I'm thinking I might play.
So wait till you go back to the Haven, and then you'll be able to play it on the company of Dunedain.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you got to be at a Haven.
Haven organization phase, 4 or more characters and allies.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
And that will even help once he needs to store the aligned Palantir, because he'll get a bonus to his corruption check with the fellowship. That's really what they're in there for, is to give bonuses for the corruption checks.
Yep. All right, so then all I've got to decide now is which Palantir I'm going to go after. So I've got Palantir of Osgiliath, which is a greater item.
Mm-hmm. And you do
Or
have
I've
to
got
have
the
4
Palantir
guys.
of Minas Tirith.
So Palantir of Minas Tirith is an easy trip from where you are now, and it's safer because you're moving through borderland free domain to get to Minas Tirith. You're not moving through any wilderness.
Yep. Okay. So Minas Tirith. So I know what my site cards are now. So it's Rivendell for the Dunedain.
Mm-hmm.
And Anorian Minas Tirith for Saruman. Place. So that's the end of the organised. And now in the long event,
Those will stay. Those will stay till my long event. Mm-hmm.
Yep, but I've got a long event. Did it go? Oh, yeah, because I originally asked Theo thinking he was you.
Uh-huh.
I got confused about my players.
No problem.
And so I said, so I don't know what he thought. I'll just send him a note.
We're on the last turn here. We're on the last turn.
Yep, alright, so I'll play the Sun in the long event phase. That's going to help these Dunedain. Yep. And I go into the movement hazard phase. And now, who's going to move first? I am going to pick up a card.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the greatest risk is losing this Palantir, so there's an argument for moving them first.
All right.
Before you can pick up more cards. So I'll go reveal Rivendell. And it's the nearest haven, so I can do the /P.
Correct.
And click on Lossenden.
Uh-huh.
This is not nice.
So we draw two each.
2 each. Did you turn on spectators can see all cards?
I don't remember if I did or not. He's leaving anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at what I have to play here, and I don't know that I want to play anything, so I'm just gonna say no. Discard that.
Hazards, okay. So I've got to draw down to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what I can. Oh yeah, well, I don't really want to get rid of one of my aligned Palantirs because I'm hoping to end up having 2 on the table. So
yeah, hold on to them both.
Keep those. Oh, that's an easy discard. Yep. Right, so now the other guys move. So reveal that they're going to Minas Tirith, and that's site to site. So I've got to do my regions. Where is he? He's at Isengard.
He's in Gap of Eisen. And Rohan.
And he's going to. Yep.
And then Norian. And it's a 2/2 draw.
Yep.
You're probably going to kill this. So it's 2 strikes. Attacker chooses. But I think your guys are all tough. I don't think that I'm going to be able to get anything through. But we'll pick your wizard and Bergil. So it's 2 strikes at 10. Now you have 2 fellowships on you. So Saruman, if he taps, is up from a 6 to an 8 versus a 10. And Bergil is up from a 4 to a 6 versus a 10. Oh, and
All right.
the
Now
sun,
the other possibility is I have.
and the sun takes
Sorry.
Bergil up an extra 1. The sun does.
Oh yeah. So he'd be a 5.
He'd be a 7.
5, 6, 7 versus 10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I did that way, and the Palantir, because I really wanted to put it on Saruman.
Right. So do that. So look at this. So if you do Saruman without tapping, he's back down to a 5. You could tap either Faramir or Boromir to take him up to a 6, and then he just needs to roll a 4.
I have got a concealment, but that's no good to me, is it? If I want Saruman to take the Palantir, because he's my only scout.
Correct.
Yep. So Saruman's a 6. If he doesn't tap, he's a 3. 2 fellowships is a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Beragorn's going to start as a 5 as well. Mm-hmm. So they could tap. Both the other guys could tap, and they could both be 6s.
Well, Bergil will be a 7 with the 2 fellowship. Beragorn's a 4, 5, 6 with the fellowship, and 7 with the sun. So tapping Bergil is a 7 versus a 10.
Oh, straight off, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Saruman.
So if you're not going to tap Saruman, I would do Bergil first.
Okay. Yep. Oh, hang on. How do I get that to go away? So face attacks at locale 13.
Mm-hmm.
So he taps.
And is a 7 versus a 10.
Yep.
Haha.
Yep.
No problem. That's what he's there for.
So Saruman is untapped would be 3, 2 fellowships is 5,
Mm-hmm.
and so would I tap both the fellas to help him?
That's up to you. That would take him up to a 7 versus a 10, and it would give you the chance to score that point better too.
Yep. All right.
I mean, you're not expecting a lot of creatures keyed to that path that you took.
No. In terms of what you've got left, yeah.
All right.
7 and
so
7's 14. Yep. Okay. So score the ambusher.
And tap your 2 other guys.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
All right.
And I have.
That's only your first one, isn't it?
I have nothing else. Nothing.
Gosh,
that was the only thing that I had that would hit. If you had gone through, see, I could have played a Cave Drake with the Dragon's Desolation to boost him from 2 strikes at 10 to 2 strikes at 12 on the other company. But I was hoping to draw a Gloom to possibly turn where you were going into a Ruins and Lairs, but it won't work on Minas Tirith. So I was pretending like I didn't know where you were going to go, and held back the Cave Drake with the Dragon's Desolation on the other company in hopes of playing one of my unique dragons with the Dragon's Desolation and Gloom. But again, that's a 3-card combo, tough to do. So I'll discard.
Okay, so I've got to do my discards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to discard 2. So that's an easy discard. That one.
So now
I'll go into the site phase.
Yeah. So now I would go ahead and play the aligned Palantir on the Palantir of Anuminas. So you click it and then click on it again, and it will say place this card on a Palantir. Perfect. And that does not tap the site, and he does not need to tap to play that.
Oh, that's good. Yes,
and that will stay on that card until you store it next turn. But before you store it, you'll play that third fellowship on that company and give him a boost to his corruption check to store the Palantir.
Yep. I like it.
Now the other guys can just waltz on in. Saruman can just walk in the front door and pick up the Palantir of Minas Tirith.
So
no auto attack, no fuss. And he taps to play it. And that taps the site. Now he can use the Palantir right now if he wants to. And what it does, you tap the Palantir. And then I think you can click on it again and say use. And it will say, look at your cards, look at their cards.
Yeah, the top 5 cards of your play deck.
You can do that. You can tap the Palantir and then click it again and say your cards. And it will show you the 5. And then you can put them back. And then you can look at my 5 cards.
And the bearer makes a corruption check.
But he's got two fellowship on him, so he's automatic.
So it doesn't matter. So there's no real reason not to do that.
Correct. Plus, it's fun.
So I have got an aligned Palantir.
All right.
So I could play that just to get the points.
You could play that.
Oh, but I'm not at the Haven.
You'll be stuck there with it. Yeah.
Yep. So hold off. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll do that. So first of all, I'll add 2 item points.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think of it.
Oh, and add your 2 miscellaneous points for the other one, the aligned Palantir. Mm-hmm.
Right, so I tap the Palantir. So when can you do it? You can do it anytime.
It says with its bearer able to use a Palantir. And Saruman's special ability is he can... He can't do it right now because he has to tap to use it, and he tapped to play it.
Yeah.
So this turn he can't use it, but he could use it next turn once he's untapped.
When it's bearer able to tap it.
So the Palantir, his ability, he has to tap as a character to use a Palantir. When you use Palantirs, you tap the Palantir itself. So he has to tap first, and then he taps the Palantir to use it.
Right. Okay. All right, so that's the end of that site phase. So we're going to end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the option of a discard. Let's have a look. There's nothing I want to discard, so I'll just draw 2 back.
So I'm going to...
And... Which...
discard and draw and say done. And we can save it here.
Yep. So save game. Oh, someone else was playing. Oh, that was I keep saying it, I really learning so much. I'm really enjoying playing.
Well, me too. I enjoy it. It's fun.